Hey, what's up everybody? Just driving home from work. Thought I'd share some news with you guys. Now, in the profession I am in right now, I really have no moral or ethical obligation to be strong or fit or whatever you want to say. The reason I do it is for personal reasons. Because I think I've shared this story before, but when I was a kid, you know, we all played sports, we all rode our bikes everywhere, blah, blah, blah. So we were all quote unquote fit. And I joined the Army in 1997. And in the mid to late 90s, you know, if you ran real fast and did a lot of push-ups, you were the epitome of fitness. So it was brainwashed into me that you needed nothing but that. So that's what I did. I ran really fast and I road marched really fast. I did lots of push-ups. Back in the 90s, I got the PT patch on the old scale where you had to get 90% or above. And I think it was on the 18-year-old scale, so I had to do like 80-something push-ups in 2 minutes. And I had to run, I want to say it was like under 12:30 or 12:10 or something like that. Anyways, that's what I did. I also road marched real good. I did a 12-miler in 2 hours and 20 minutes. Not too shabby. But fast forward to 2003 to my first deployment to Iraq. I was in a situation where none of that mattered. It was in the middle of the night. I was on an outer cordon. I was all by my lonesome. I was a 6'2", 180 pound NCO, and I was a team leader. And there I was by myself on the outer cordon because, well, we had a way bigger cordon than we had people. Chilling there, checking everything out, make sure everything's good, and up pops this gargantuan of a man. One of the biggest sumbitches I had ever seen in my life. This Iraqi was towered over me. He was probably about 6'6" and a good 300 plus pounds. I mean, this dude was big. So I obviously pointed my weapon at him, told him to get on the ground in both English and Arabic. The guy did not care what I was saying. He was unarmed, so I couldn't just like murder him. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do, right? I'm in a little bit of a conundrum. I'm in a moral and ethical dilemma right here. I could shoot the guy. Nobody would have said a damn thing. But on my conscience, this dude is unarmed. He wasn't like coming at me with a knife. He wasn't like making aggressive moves. He was simply walking at me like a Terminator or like a Jason Voorhees. Just sit there, or like a Michael Myers, just like walking at me. But he was huge, right? So he got within, you know, barrel distance of me. I called it on the radio, but it took a while for the guys to get there. And, you know, shit unfolds real quick, right? So he gets up, I'm yelling at him, he's doing nothing. So I did what I thought would like make this dude subdued to me, for lack of a better term. I kicked this dude in his dick and his balls as hard as I possibly could. This dude fucking looked at me and grunted, and that was it. And I was like, fuck. Like in my mind, I'm like, this dude's gonna murder me, like he's gonna kill me. So he did nothing, right? I kept my poker face on me, started yelling at him some more, and I pulled out an old, like, you remember those old mag lights, like the 3-4 cell mag lights that have 3 or 4 D batteries in there that your grandpa or your dad used to have, right? Probably had it in their car, and they probably used it for the same thing I used it for. I pulled out that bad boy because Surefire wasn't around then. They weren't a thing. If they were a thing, we sure as shit didn't have them. So that's all we had, right? I kept one of those, one of my grenade pouches, pretty much everybody did. So I pulled that thing out like a fucking sword, and I beat this dude over the head with it, right? After a few good whacks, he fell to his knees, held his head, blah, blah, blah. I was able to put some zip cuffs on him. Finally, some dudes came running to my aid, and we got this guy all tied up. We took him back for questioning and whatnot. But in those moments of my life, I was like, I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna have to kill this guy if he tries something, right? And it wasn't like this. I'm going into a room and CQB, like dude's got a gun, blah blah blah. No, it was a dude in a white man dress walking at me at a slow pace, and I'm just standing there with my gun, yelling at him. Now, granted, he didn't slow down. I probably was, within my rights to shoot him, but again, morally and ethically, it just wouldn't have been right, and I just couldn't do it. So, anyways, I'll see if I can put a picture of that dude in here if I can find one. Anyways, I beat this dude with the flashlight, blah blah blah. I came back and I was talking to my buddies about it. Obviously, they made fun of me. I laughed. We all laughed. It was great fun. I still laugh about it. But I said to myself right then and there, like, this will never happen again. I will never be in a situation to where I cannot fight my way out of it. And I'll never be in a situation to where this gear that I'm wearing is going to hinder me ever again. And it was, not that day, but that situation that said, oh, I need to go to the gym. Now, in the Army, you're either running or rucking every single day. I mean, it's stupid, right? So I knew that my cardio was taken care of. So I went to the gym and I was like, I need to get big and strong. Every new guy in the gym has, newbie gains or whatever you want to call it. And mine was, I got big. I didn't get all that strong right away. It took a little while to get, some strength. But from then on, from 2004-ish, all the way till I got out for like 5 years, my job in my mind was to get stronger. So I can't remember exactly what my numbers were like when I got out in 09. I do remember incline benching 315, all by myself, like no spotter, no nothing. So I could do that. And I do remember like my last unit that I was in, I was doing PT on my own. So I was like running, like doing half mile sprints or quarter mile sprints, one of the two, with like a 100-pound sandbag on my shoulder, and doing a lot of sled sprints and things like that. So I was doing a lot of that to stay in shape. And I think my last PT test, I was running like a 7-ish minute mile, maybe a sub 7 minute mile. And I was weighing like 210, 220, something like that. So, and I was fairly strong. Fast forward to when I went contracting. After I got out, I started powerlifting. In actuality, I just got fat. So when I was contracting, I hired a dietitian. I lost 45 pounds in about 2.5 months. It was a horrible time in my life, but I needed to do it because we have a body fat test when you're contracting. So I did that. I still kept a lot of my strength. And then I went into contracting. When I went into contracting, I fell in love with like CrossFit, and not just like doing CrossFit. I fell in love with the theory behind it and a lot of the things they were doing. Kelly Starrett was big. They were doing a lot of, prehab, rehab stuff and things like that. So it wasn't just about, whatever your Fran time was. It was a lot more than just that. And I really dove deep into that. Had some dudes on contract that either owned CrossFit gyms or were big into CrossFit as well. They helped me out with a bunch of stuff. Ipso facto, my strength never really got super strong. I deadlifted like 500, I think. But I was able to do like, I think right in there, it was like 100 burpees in less than 7 minutes was like the goal that we were trying to hit. And a lot of us, were able to hit that, which is not a bad goal. It's not like some golden standard or anything like that, or like CrossFit Games or anything like that. But I mean, for just a regular dude that was getting shitty sleep and eating shitty food, it wasn't that bad. Fast forward out of that, I come home and I'm gonna be a cop, right? Well, here's the thing. Cops spend most of their time on their ass, right? Sitting around, doing nothing, driving their cars. Then they spend a lot of time just standing around, doing nothing, listening to people bitch about things, right? And CrossFit wasn't really doing it for me anymore. I didn't have that itch. I didn't have that like love for CrossFit anymore. And I needed something new. So my goal, you know, I had goals everywhere I went. And as a cop, my goal was, I started thinking about it really hard. I said, listen, if I can run or sprint 100 to 400 meters, because that's roughly what you're going to do, and then when you get there, you are able to fight somebody. So sprint 100 meters and then be able to physically manhandle somebody. That was my goal to achieve as a cop, right? And that's what I tell cops even to this day. Like, if you can sprint 400 meters, like you can do one lap around the track, when you get done, be able to fight somebody, like you're fit enough to be a cop. So that's what I did, and I fell in love. I started dabbling in strongman, and I really fell in love with doing strongman stuff. The odd object stuff, just the brute strength and brutality that you needed to, you know, pick up sandbags and like all Husafell stones and all that stuff. I just fell in love with it. I noticed that doing lots of like farmers carries and stuff like that totally went over into my sprinting. I started rucking again on the treadmill, but I started rucking again. That helps out tremendously, and I fell in love with it, right? So even to this day, if you are on my Instagram, you can see I do a lot of powerlifting. Not really powerlifting, but more like a strength lifting, and then some strongman stuff. I don't do too much CrossFit stuff anymore. I may throw one or two things in there, but not hardly anything anymore. Well, just recently, we decided to go to Iceland again. We and the wife have been there before. We were there for like 4 days, did a bunch of cool things, but we decided we wanted to go back, and this time we're going to bring the kids. And I said, hey, if we're going to go back to Iceland, I want to attempt to pick up the Husafell stone. Now, if you are not into strongman stuff, you probably don't know what the Husafell stone is. It's a 410 pound stone that was the gate to a sheep pen. The reason why this stone is so popular is because the story goes that the daughter of the farmer, the shepherd, went up to her dad and said, hey, how come I don't get as much money as the boys do for tending the sheep? And the father had a very simple answer. He said, well, you can't even move the gate. So until you can move the gate and let the sheep in and out of the pen, I'm not going to pay you as much. So she went outside, picked up the gate, 410 pound stone, and walked all the way around the sheep pen and then put it back. This happened in Husafell, Iceland, i.e. the Husafell stone. Since that time, which we don't even know the date, just a long time ago, that stone has now been a test of manhood. Because if this farmer's daughter can do it, if you're any sort of a man, you can do it as well. Fucking challenge accepted. All right, cool, right? So, and again, I get like, it's not most people's thing, but I don't give a fuck. It's my thing, you know. And I'm gonna say, like, I went over there, I picked up the Husafell stone. Even if I just pick it up, it's okay with me. Even if I can't walk with it, I'm okay. As long as I pick that sumbitch up, I'm good to go. All right. There's also Drivik stones there. They used to, when the fishermen would go out, you would pick stones up. The biggest, you know, they had a like a quarter strength, half strength, and full strength, or full circle. And if you could pick up the full strength stone, you would get a full share of rations. If you could only pick up a half strength stone, you could only get a half share of rations from the fish that they brought in from their catch. So they had a lot of manhood things over in Iceland. And I said, if we're going to go over there anyway, my punk ass is going to pick up a fucking rock. I mean, come on, right? So that's what I'm training for. We're going over there late May, early June. So I have, 6 months, 7 months to get ready. And I am fully going to kind of go head first into this. I have a Husafell stone in my gym, the replica one that you can add weight to. I've gotten over 300 pounds on that pretty easily. I can pick up 300 pounds consecutively any day, no warm-ups, boom. So I probably need to add, I've never gone up to 350 or 400, never felt the need to. So I need to add, 50, 75 pounds in order to do it. I think in 7 months, if I really hit the grindstone, I'll be able to do it. I'm also going to tidy up my diet a lot. I'm not going to eat, too much bullshit. I'm going to really kind of hone in on that a little bit. And over the years of doing this, I have a kind of like an addictive personality. So over the years of working out and doing this stuff, I've kind of like dug into a lot of things like CrossFit, powerlifting, strongman, all that stuff. So I have not a great knowledge base, but I got somewhat of a knowledge base. I can hold my own in conversations, you would say. I also have a little sister that's a registered dietitian, so I'm gonna enlist her help for free, obviously, to help me out with that. So I'm gonna do that kind of stuff. And what I want to do is I'm gonna give updates here on the YouTubes. I'll throw some workout stuff on there, give some updates to how I'm doing, what's going on. Right now, my best front squat is like 385. My best Zercher, and I think I've only gone up to like 365. I haven't felt the need to go any higher. Like I said, Husafell, a little over 300. Haven't felt the need to go higher. So obviously I need to boost all those numbers up. The thing about it is I've never prioritized the Husafell, a front squat, or a Zercher at all in my training. So now all my upper body stuff is going to take kind of a back seat. I'm pretty happy with it right now. Like, I mean, I can bench over, over 315. I'm almost 45 years old. I can bench over 315. I can strict press, thinking I like 245. Like, I don't really care about that stuff anymore. Like, I don't need to prove myself to anybody anymore. I've proved myself over many, many years that I can hold my own in fights. I can hold my own in strength, especially with your average Joe on the street. So anyway, that's my thing. I'll still do other videos. I'll still throw the occasional story out there. Hopefully I can get some of my turds on here, and that's what I used to call my soldiers. Hopefully I can get my little turds on here, and we can talk about some of the stories, since people, don't believe everything I say, which would be cool. But hey, just a quick update. So I'm gonna really start harping on this. Like November the 2nd. No, 1st November falls in the middle of the week, so the first week of November, that's an actual week of November, is when I'm going to really start getting on this. I'm going to do all my PRs next week to test everything out to see where my starting strength is. And that's it. Oh, man, that's blinding. So other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. If you have any questions about like working out or diet stuff, anything like that, hey, man, hit me up. Like I said, if I don't know the answers, I will get the answers for you, especially when it comes to this stuff. Like I said, I've been doing this for a little while. There's a lot of answers I can't get for you, a lot of contracting questions that I can't answer for you just because I'm not in that world at all anymore. And it's hard to go back into that world when you haven't been in there for a long time. Like, hey, will they take these kind of guys? I just don't know. You would have to call a recruiter. I don't know what they're doing anymore. But if you've got any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. And as always, ask yourself, are you an asset or a liability?